I recently did a vlog video on the Coricidin bottles for slide guitar, and a couple of friends, my mom, asked me some questions about playing slide guitar. So I actually made a little video that I sent to Mom to show her. One of the things she asked me, she said, "What do you do with that little bottle?" And she said, "Do you put it over your finger?" So I sent her a video where I showed her how the slide is worn. Okay, so if you're a beginning slide player, you probably have a lot of questions like, which is better, glass or metal? I know that they make slides out of ceramic. There's a guitar player I saw named Michael Williams, and he uses a Bic lighter. The lap steel, pedal steel players use a little metal bar. It doesn't actually go over the finger like a little bottle or a little pipe or something like that. So if you're a beginning slide player, you're probably wondering, where do I get one? Music stores sell all kinds of slides. There's the little Coricidin bottle replicas. There's little Pyrex glass tubes. They make them out of the necks from wine bottles. Some guys will use a deep socket out of their toolbox. Little pieces of pipe, little metal slides. My friend Donnie Cohen, he gave me some lessons on playing slide. He was a huge proponent of using a Coricidin bottle. He was a Duane Allman fan and an adherent to that style. Following his lead, I started using a glass bottle. The glass bottle is by no means the only way or the right way to play slide guitar. Tex Burbank, who did all the slide on the last song, he uses one of the little chrome metal slides and gets great results. I love his tone. It's awesome. It makes me want to find a metal slide that'll fit right so I can maybe see if I can try to cop some of his tones. So the main thing is to just get a slide and start playing slide guitar. So the next question a beginner might have is, well, which finger do I put it on? I like to use the ring finger on my left hand. I broke this finger one time and it's kind of going the wrong way. You can see it sort of goes that way. For some reason, especially with a tighter fitting bottle like one of these Dunlop Blues bottles, it really seems to snugly fit right over my bent finger. The fact that I broke my finger, it kind of helps the slide stay on there a little better. Okay, so you got your metal slide, glass slide, Bic lighter, whatever kind of slide you want to use. And it's kind of the same thing with the fingers. Some people like to use their pinky finger. Other people like to use the ring finger. Some people like to use the middle finger. You're almost always going to see it's one of these three fingers though, and I'll explain that in a minute. On playing the dobro has a heavier set of strings than an electric guitar, and this Swamp Frog is actually a good slide for these heavier strings. It's a little bit of a heavier bottle. Many guitar players will use a heavier string gauge, and they'll even raise the action up a little bit. The dobro actually has a pretty high action. On my electric guitars, which we'll get to in a minute, I use a standard action. It might be a little bit high because I play kind of a blues style, and I think the higher action helps with the string bending. It's not as high as some guitar players would use for a guitar that was designated just for playing slide. Okay, so one of the secrets of slide guitar playing is muting or dampening the strings behind the slide. And again, like most things in slide guitar playing, this is by no means a rule that you have to follow. It's just the way I was taught. Donnie Cohen taught me to use the index finger behind the slide to dampen the strings. Okay, listen how it sounds without damping. Now listen how it sounds with damping. Can you hear the difference? Now that we've covered all of that, let's just take a look at the gear we got here. Okay, the slides are the Dunlop Blues bottle. That's the medium regular one. Seems to fit me better than the large. Then we've got the Rocky Mountain Slide Company Swamp Frog, the Coricidin bottle, which is a Coricidin bottle replica. They just spell it a little different. And then we've got the Big Heart Slide Company Mojo Medicine bottle, the one with the little cap on it. For blues and rock and roll approved slide tone, we're feeding our guitar signal into that Maxon OD808 tube screamer, and then we're going to run the signal through the big muff before it gets to the amplifier. That's mainly because we're playing at a really low volume. It's late here. We're keeping musicians' hours. A couple of my favorite guitars for playing slide guitar on. The Les Paul Jr. It's up there near the top of the list. And one of my main gigging guitars for playing slide is this 1954 Fender Stratocaster Reissue. It's an MIJ model. I believe it was manufactured in 2012 or thereabouts. And we're going to be feeding our guitar signal into this nifty little Fender Champ amp. That's another piece of gear that I've used extensively in live shows. With the modern sound reinforcement, gigging with a champ is very doable. It's time to rock. Okay, so with the Les Paul Jr. guitar, one of the tricks to playing slide guitar on this electric is this tone knob right here. That's the key to the whole thing. I mean, you use your volume as needed, but the tone, if you just dump it like 3 notches off the top, it brings some nice mid-range snarl into the sound. Let me play it for you all the way up with full treble. Here's the tone on 7. So there it is, a little bit of a light touch, little tone knob rolled off a little bit. The vibrato is so key. Legend has it, or maybe it's not a legend, I think maybe it was in some interviews or something that I read. B.B. King said that he came up with the idea of playing vibrato to try to imitate the sound of a slide guitarist. Whatever it takes. So yeah, that's the Les Paul Jr. The great slide guitar. The tone knob. That's the secret with this guitar. Alright, the 54 Strat reissue. Same type of things apply. Use the volume knob and the tone knobs. And I like to use the second position, which is the bridge and middle together. A little bit of an out of phase sound. Roll off a little tone. Or the neck position. So I'm playing that in standard tuning, and in the standard tuning, one of the tricks I use, here's another one of the little secrets. You know how to play an A chord, right? Okay, so I'm playing this in standard tuning, and another little secret that I use is, you know how to play the A chord, the open A chord, the cowboy chord? Well, I use those 3 notes under the slide, all over the neck. There's a D, a C, E, and then under that E, you can get the bluesy thing if you play it a step and a half up. So there it is. Hopefully, if you're interested in learning to play slide guitar, some of these little tips will help you get started. One thing I should mention, there are no rules for playing slide guitar. You can use different types of slides. You can use it on different fingers. You can use different tunings, open E, open A, standard tuning. The one requirement is attitude. And go tear it up.